Hey guys, this is Zorn Productions, aka Nanoforce Season 3, and I am back in Those Without Names. Sorry, it's been a while since I uploaded. Stuff's happening, school tomorrow, stuff's always happening. Back in this, we're just gonna go on, gonna enjoy. Like, I recently just realized I just have to enjoy the small things in life. Don't think about all the crap. Well, I have to think about all the crap, but don't think about things that don't matter, right? So yeah, we're just gonna enjoy this little gem. I actually am enjoying it so far. Let's go. How long have you been here, Seven? I finally asked, my voice sounding drowsy. My brother was right, you didn't really sleep, just faded out of consciousness. It was the closest thing to sleeping in this place. A long time. Her knitting slowed a little, but she continued to talk. As long as I don't want to leave my children, I won't wake. Her children? Are they here too? I tried to ask, but I was too comfortable dozing next to her. I slipped out of consciousness with the question still on my tongue. There was only the building. It had a hallway lined with bedrooms, a floor filled with rooms all over the place that changed to fit your interests. You could leave the building if you wished. Over the hills, that 13 once circled around 8 times, trying to find his way back. On the hill was the field where I woke up, the first time, the one with Earth looming over in the sky. I found my brother there, looking at the earth that threatened to fall onto us. What do you think this place is? He asked me without turning his eyes away from Earth. Being outside still made me feel dizzy, like the earth would pull me from the ground and throw me helplessly towards it. Gathering my courage, I half crawled over to him and sat down. I firmly grabbed onto the grass for good measure. I thought about my answer. I dreamed. Why? Time moves strangely. Time isn't the same here. My brother frowned but stayed silent. I continued tugging nervously at the grass and tried not to imagine what it would feel like crawling up. You know, when you dream and you don't really know how long it's been until you wake up? That's what it feels like here. You're wrong, he murmured, finally turning away from Earth to face me. That's only if you're unaware that you're dreaming. We've been aware of it since we got here. Even if I don't know how much time has passed, I know this is lasting longer than it should. Oh man, can I go back? I can't. Oh god, I should have saved. People disappear unexpectedly? People disappear unexpectedly and no one seems to mind. I looked at him and wondered how long we've been apart since the last few memories. It happens in dreams. You're with someone, they turn into a different person, or they just disappear. You don't question it, do you? No. He agreed, still sounding doubtful. Still haven't seen anyone turn into someone else. Alright, let's try something else then. Sorry that you're not happy with how things are, I'm just trying. You face through different things and you can't control it. The memories? Yeah, it comes without warning and takes you away. He looked from the sky, a thoughtful look on his face. The thing is just... excuse me, oh well, if you expected me to be ladylike, you, are at the wrong channel, Things just change when you're dreaming. You're in one place, and the next you're in someone else. It is somewhere else. I can't talk. This is exactly what it feels like here. But we keep waking up here. In dreams, don't you normally go somewhere else? His voice sounded tight, almost challenging. I stole a look at him and saw the earth, and immediately regretted it. Yeah, we do. It's a weird dream. He didn't look convinced, but I knew I was right. No, I like the other option. You know what? No. I want to load. I want to load this, and I want to go back, and I don't want to care. It doesn't matter which. I want the good ending, but whatever. He's right. I've had the same thought since my second memory. It's more than just that. Don't you feel lighter here? My brother hesitated before nodding. It's also like my senses are dull. I feel some things, but there are others I don't feel at all. Yeah, haven't felt cold, hungry, or anything painful. Exactly, just like a dream. My thoughts are back to the sky. I gestured at the large, cold face of Earth with my chin. And that. Where else would you see something like this except in a dream? True, there's no way you can have a planet this large and this close without being pulled into each other's gravitational orbit. It doesn't make sense. That's why it's a dream. We fell silent. My brother still standing straight and gazing up at Earth, while I plucked absently at the grass and ignored the sky. I'm not sure about that. He finally whispered more to himself than to me. As a child, my punishment was always getting locked in the closet. The first time I was put in there, I screamed until my throat was raw. I couldn't see anything, and the space was cramped and small. It felt like I was suffocating slowly. The walls kept growing smaller. I screamed and kicked at the door and cried until I had no energy left, and then I just sobbed uncontrollably. It never got better. My dad had to drag or carry me in, and I fought with everything I had not to be locked inside. I always screamed. I always cried. The suffocating feeling was always there, and each time I truly believed I would die. Why would that have changed? The darkness and small cramped space never did. One day, I fought with my brother. Angry and too young to know better, I scratched him. His arm bled a little, and I was put in the closet. Once I was inside, I screamed, this time in pure terror. It didn't matter how much I apologized. I was to be in the closet until my punishment time was up. I sobbed, screamed, and cried until my throat was dry and raw. And after a while, someone knocked on the door. It was my brother. Are you okay? I sobbed loudly in reply. The walls were crushing me. Darkness was suffocating me. It's okay. It's okay. His voice was so near. I hung onto it, desperately, and even though my body didn't stop shaking, I felt just a little bit better. Don't be scared. I'm here. He was asking the impossible. Long after I grew up and was too old to be punished, I would always be scared of small spaces. I would always be afraid of the walls and the darkness and the space where I couldn't move and breathe and think and scream. I'm here. He patted the door as if he was patting my head. I started crying again, wishing I was outside and safe. He kept patting the door, hoping it'll make me feel better, and succeeding just a little. You'll be okay. I'm here. Oh my god. For the first time since I came to this place, I saw a memory that frightened me. I looked for my brother, and when I couldn't find him, I went to Seven. She listened to me and patted my head gently, just like my brother did to the closet door. You have a good brother. Her voice was soft and it comforted me. I felt relieved, but a little lonely at the same time. She reminded me of home. I know. Goddamn. She smiled at my answer before returning to her knitting with a distant, thoughtful look on her face. I watched as she knitted, her expression clearing as if she finally realized something. It wasn't long before she disappeared into a memory and I was left alone again. This time, it was my brother who was looking for me. He found me outside, lying on the grass to stop myself from falling up. He sat beside me and looked at me strangely. I thought you hated out here. I don't hate it, it just scares me a little. Then why are you out here by yourself? When I'm out here, I don't feel like I'm suffocating. He fell silent. After a while, he scooted over and lay down next to me. The closet. I nodded, my throat tightening at the thought. I'm here. It's been a long time since he had to say that. I swallowed back my tears and smiled. I know. He looked up to the earth, clouds swirling slowly on its surface. It was so impressively detailed, so real, so very much alive. Even if I was afraid of it, it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Why do you think it's Earth in the sky? What do you mean? It could be anything up there, but it's Earth. I mulled over his question. You sound as if you already have a theory. I do. He paused for a moment, glancing at me before looking back up. I think it's telling us that we're no longer there. What do you mean? I swallowed back my smile, realizing from his tone that he wasn't just stating the obvious. What are you trying to say? He hesitated like it was difficult for him to say. When he finally spoke, he sounded careful, like he was choosing his words not to upset me. I don't think this is just a dream. And I don't think that that's just a dream Earth. I didn't like where he was going, and I felt my stomach knot uncomfortably. That's stupid. Do you really believe this is... You really don't believe this is all real, are you? I sounded more snappish than I intended, and he noticed. He let out a sigh. It's just a hunch, okay? But there are things you can't explain by saying it's a dream. Like what? If this is a dream, and aware of it, we'll be lucid dreaming. Yeah. And if you're lucid dreaming, you can do whatever you want. You can just fly if you want to. You're supposed to be able... Oh, yeah, that's what he's saying. You're supposed to be able to control your dreams. Sometimes you can't, but that's because you're not completely aware of it. I feel quite alert, safe for not remembering my name and some things. How about you? I didn't answer. He was right. I was more alert than I usually was in any dream. In fact, it was the first time I had such a vivid, detailed, and coherent dream. The implications behind his words frightened me. I wish for some things, you know. Like, I really want a pizza, and it shows up in the rooms. Of course, I can't taste any of it, so it's pointless, but it appears when I wish for it. Because it's a dream. Yeah, but I wished for other things too, and they're not granted. I wished to see Mom, even Dad. I wished for my friends. The silence stretched between us. I knew his wish didn't come true because sometimes I wished for the same thing. I wished for people that I couldn't find in this place. People I could only see it back home. All of a sudden, the Earth didn't seem that close anymore. Right now, it looked so impressively far away. You're the only person here that I know. His voice was so quiet, it was almost lost to the wind and the sky, but his words stuck in my mind for a very long time. Wow. Okay, so music is going to all kinds of places. It's kind of interesting where it's going. So it hurt. My whole body. I think I need that music a bit down. My whole body seared with pain. I couldn't move. Something was pinning me down. Help! I tried to say. My throat was choked up with liquid terror. I couldn't move. The space was too small. I couldn't see anything. It was too dark. I tried desperately to move my body, but I couldn't move. Too small. Too cramped. I tried to scream. Help me. The walls were literally crushing me, blinding me with white pain. I'd never felt such pure terror in my life. I want to be outside. I want to be safe. I struggled to breathe, but all I could do was gasp and choke. My whole body was shaking from pain and stress. The liquid choking me tasted like metal. I could smell blood. I could smell metal and dirt and gasoline and blood. Help! It hurts. Please, someone help me. I swallowed the thick liquid and gasped again, but it came out as a terrified sob. I couldn't breathe. The space was too small. I don't want to die. My breaths were ragged and desperate, tearing at my throat. I couldn't move. I couldn't tell if it was because I was being crushed by the walls around me, or if I was being crushed by my own sheer terror. So we're dead. In a car crash? And 7 is our mother? I don't know. I screamed myself out. Oh, that's not a sentence you say, so happy-go-lucky that I just said it. My cheeks were completely wet. I wiped them and realized how badly my hands were shaking. A dream. It was just a dream. I didn't recognize it. It wasn't a memory of mine. Okay, so it was just a dream. I'm okay. I'm alright. My throat was too tight. I was gasping for air. I struggled to get my breathing under control as I tried to stop crying. My room was wide and bright, spacious and clear of clutter. I finally understood why. Just like the rooms that changed depending on who was inside, my room reflected my wishes. But it couldn't give me what I really wanted. I wanted to wake up and go home. Now the emptiness and pure white color that used to comfort me made me feel so terrifyingly alone. Unable to stand it any longer, I left my room. I went 5 doors down from my room and knocked. My hand was still trembling and I couldn't stop it. He might not be inside. There was no schedule in this place, no pattern that anyone followed here. He might not even be here anymore. He might be completely gone. Thoughts bustled in my mind, screaming through the silence. I was about to leave when my brother opened the door, looking dazed as if I caught him about to drift off. He saw tears on my face and immediately grew alert. What happened? May I come in? I sobbed more than asked. He stepped aside to let me in. We hadn't shared a room since I was 6. It was hard to adjust at first, so he let me sleep in his room when I had nightmares. I couldn't help but remember that as my brother got back to his bed. He rolled over on his sides, his back facing me as I crawled under the sheets. I sobbed quietly, the feel of his back against mine comforting. In this place, where nothing of home could be wished for, no matter how desperately you wanted, my brother was here. The closet? My brother asked, sounding gentler. The nightmares of the closet never left me, even though it had been many years since. I shook my head, wiping the tears off my face. Worse. I think I was dying. I remember the excruciating pain and smell of blood and metal. I remember the walls collapsing in tightly around me, crushing my body down to the ground. But most of all, I remember the cold terror of helplessness, and not wanting to die. I had a dream. When my brother didn't reply, I continued. I think I was dying. I heard him draw his breath quietly. You're okay now. He was reassured, and though it was such an obvious thing, I felt so relieved. Do you mind if I stay here for a while? Sure. I closed my eyes and focused on my breathing. After a while, I heard my brother's voice. "It'll be okay. I'm here." I nodded, relaxing my body. It took a long time, but I finally felt safe again. I might not be able to wake up just yet, but I wasn't alone, and for that, I felt immensely grateful. I know. Seven had her awakening. I saw her as I walked down the hall and immediately knew the moment I saw her face. One of her eyes were clear instead of dark, shadowed look instead of the dark shadow look everyone else had. Her eye was bright and alert. She saw me and smiled. "Hello, 8. I swallowed hard as I walked up. "You're awake." "Soon. I want to thank you." "Me?" I looked at her in confusion, and she patted my head gently. "It's all thanks to you that I can finally let go." "What do you mean?" She was fading in front of me, but not the same when she was going under a memory. She was turning into light. My throat tightened as I watched her body break into small, bright particles and float into the air. This time, I knew I wouldn't see her again. I realized my children are not alone, even if I'm not around. They have each other to lean on, just like you and Zero. They'll lend each other their strength. I know that now. That's why I can rest easy. Thank you, 8. Wait, 7? Tears blurred my vision as she took my hand gently. "It's time for me to go, but I want you to know my name. My name is Mei Ling." "Mei Ling." Mei Ling smiled, her happiness glowing on her face. She was so transparent that I couldn't focus on her outline anymore. "I have to go. Goodbye, 8." So we're in some sort of afterlife, and we're gonna pass on. That's not good. I don't want to die. There's a lot of things I need to do. Though we have a horrible dad, apparently. A burst of light particles later, she was gone. God. I told my brother, who told 13. 13 was ecstatic. "God, I can't wait to wake too. I hope I'm next. This place is great and all, but I want to leave as soon as possible. You get me?" "Yeah." My brother answered, but it didn't sound like he was listening to 13. Instead, he seemed deep in thought. 13 rolled his eyes and faced me. "He's spacing out. How about you? Can't wait to wake, either, right?" I didn't answer. All I could think about was Mei Ling disappearing into light, floating high and away. I thought about the crinkles in her eyes when she smiled, the ones that reminded me of crow feet. I thought about the sound of her knitting needles as I dozed in her room. I looked at my brother and tried to imagine him turning into light too. "Man, why'd you two clam up all of a sudden?" He sighed and gave up, throwing himself down onto the studio couch. "I just want to leave. You can wish for almost anything except the things you really want. Can't taste a thing, can't feel a thing, can't do anything interesting. Drives you mad. Just keep rewinding through your life over and over until you remember your name. If you ever do, that's no way to live. I ain't interested in reliving something I've already been through once. I want to make new memories, not look at old ones. I want to live, you know? I can't be stuck here forever." His voice floated after me, listing his complaints as I left the studio. My brother joined me later outside. He sat down behind me and leaned his back against mine. "You okay?" I tugged at the grass beneath my feet. "I miss her." "Who? 7? "Mei Ling." He was silent for a while. Me pulling out the grass and kept growing back, and him leaning against me to look at the sky. You two were pretty close, considering how hard you find it to talk to strangers. She was nice. She didn't talk much. She listened. Sometimes we talked, and it felt okay. But the surprising thing is, even if we didn't talk, it was alright too. I stood up. I stopped pulling up the grass. It was pointless trying to tear something down when it was just kept growing back so rapidly. She reminded me of home. My brother didn't speak. I sniffed a little and rubbed my nose with my sleeve. I miss Mom and Dad. Seriously? You miss that psycho who threw you into the closet? No matter how good parents they are, how good people they are, you don't do that to a child. That is child abuse. Goddamn. It was a while before I heard my brother's reply. Me too. In the darkness of a tiny, cold hospital room, I saw my brother's small back. He faced our grandfather, wasting away in front of us. His back was oddly straight and stiff. We were children then. It was the first time either of us faced with dying men. It didn't feel real. My grandpa was portly and round, red-faced and smiling. He had a huge laugh that reminded me of firecrackers going off. He had a smile that matched the sun. He didn't sleep in dark, cold rooms. He didn't have wires and tubes stuck into his hand and throat. He didn't need machines to help him breathe and eat, to live. The pale, thin, gasping body wasn't my grandpa. I didn't recognize this shadow of a person. I couldn't bring myself to look at this man who was a grandfather and not my grandpa. And I pretended to look at the bags and tubes hanging out of the side of the bed, too afraid to look. But my brother was different from me. He faced our grandfather, tight-lipped but unwavering as he held on to a clawed, veined hand that I was too afraid to reach for. His eyes never left our grandfather's face. Death is a very hard thing to accept. It truly doesn't feel real when someone close to you goes. It truly doesn't. It takes a long time to accept it. But anyways, it's not that we're talking about right now. He was too afraid, but even more than that, he hated turning his eyes away from the truth. I think we're dead. His words cut into me, and I swallowed the heavy feeling of dread in my throat. He knew I hated the topic of death. It had always scared me. You're wrong. We're just dreaming. His eyes didn't waver. He stared straight at me, his expression serious and fierce. I wanted to look away, but I didn't want to back down. Backing down would mean admitting he was right. You don't understand. This isn't a dream. It's too messed up to be a dream. I don't know. I don't think that's the reason. I've had pretty messed up dreams. Dreams are most of the time really messed up. Anyways. Don't you see? This place is holding us here. We're not waking up. We will. We just have to remember. Then we can wake and leave. What does waking even mean here, sis? It just means leaving this place. It doesn't mean we're going to really wake up. We stared at each other, neither of us wanting to back down. I could hear the frustration in his voice, and I knew he was reaching his limit. Do you even remember when I asked you why you thought this was a dream? Yeah? All of your reasons also work if this place is for the dead. A sharp, cold fear bubbled in my stomach, and I snapped back. What do you know about being dead? I don't... excuse me, the recorder stopped. Gonna take that over again. What do you know about being dead? I don't suppose you already have the experience of what happens after you die. No, I don't. It's just a feeling. Well, feeling like you're dead isn't the best evidence for your argument. No, but it explains a lot of things that dreams can't. Why is it that we're the only people we know here? Don't you think it's weird how we can't seem to dream up Mom or Dad or anyone else we know? Why can we only get some wishes granted but not others? Why can't we wake up? Why are we sharing the same dream? Why do we keep coming back to the same place? How long are we gonna keep sleeping like this? He asked all the questions in the back of my mind that I was too afraid to think about and almost resented him for it. He knew I couldn't answer them. You could just be a part of my dream. You might just be acting like the brother I think you are, but that doesn't mean you're really you. The hurt expression on his face stung me with guilt, but I was too upset to apologize just yet. Maybe I'm not even the real me. Maybe I'm just the sister you think I am, and I'm just a part of your dream. If that's the case, I could be able to manipulate you here, like making you disappear or grow smaller, but I can't. And you can't do the same to me. We fell silent. There wasn't anything I could say. Yeah, you're definitely in the wrong here, girl. Still, I didn't believe him. I couldn't. I didn't remember dying. I had a nightmare, but it couldn't be me. That wasn't my memory. I wasn't dead. I couldn't be. So where do you think we are? Still, my brother didn't look like he would budge anytime soon. If he's so adamant about it, he must have a good reason. My brother wouldn't say things like this to scare me for nothing. He really believes he's right. If you think this isn't a dream and we're dead, then what do you think this place is? My brother looked at Earth. Just like always, it hovered over us. Like he was watching, waiting. I don't know. This is not heaven. It's too lonely to be such a place. It hides and takes too much from me. Maybe it's a place between the living and the dead. I swallowed hard. And waking is... Moving on. He paused for a moment, his gaze never leaving Earth. There's something I've been meaning to tell you. Feeling a strange sense of dread, I waited for him to speak. Whatever it was, it didn't look easy to say. I've been having weird dreams. It's not the same as the memories. It feels like dreaming because I don't remember it happening. But I die in this dream. At first I couldn't see anything, but the second time I saw it, the dream felt more vivid. I wasn't sure of it, but now I am. I was dying in that dream. The words hung in the air, heavy and foreboding. I remembered my nightmare, that memory that I didn't remember, the one that wasn't mine. I didn't know my brother was seeing them too. How long have you been seeing these dreams? A while now. Why haven't you told me? Because it'll scare you. Things like this always scare you. He paused, looking back at me. I think I'm dead, sis. My stomach dropped, and a cold feeling filled inside my insides. My brother's voice sounded so small. All of a sudden I knew he was just as frightened as me. He brought this up with me for a reason, and if we knew it, even if he knew it would scare me, he was scared too. He wanted me to disprove him and dispel all of his worries. He fought against me as much as he could because there was somewhere inside he hoped I would still be able to convince him that he was wrong. It was a terribly heavy burden for me to bear. This place took more than just a name from me. It took the memories that made me what I am and what I used to be, and now it feels like it's taken more. I can't stand it. I hate this place, but the worst part is never being able to leave. I quietly took his hand. He squeezed my hand in his, looking away from me. I kept my face turned to the side, knowing he didn't want me to see him cry. We'll wake up soon. He snorted half-heartedly as he wiped his face and I squeezed his hand back. You'll see. We'll definitely leave this place. We're so dead, literally. The first time I was hit wasn't meant for me. Spare the rod and spoil the child was what our dad was the believer of that phrase. He didn't believe in hitting girls, so my punishment was the closet. My brother was the one to be beaten. More often than not, we were punished during study time. If we didn't understand anything, Dad would try to teach us. If we still didn't understand, he called us lazy, and if that didn't work, he'll lock me up in the closet. He'll beat my brother. He thought if we just tried harder, we wouldn't be having any problems. Dad had problems managing his anger. Sometimes he hit my brother a little too hard. Sometimes he left me in the closet longer. We hated being taught by him. My brother's weakest subject was math. He got beaten a lot for not understanding. He tried, but it wasn't enough. He wasn't trying hard enough, Dad would say to Mom. He was lazy. So when my brother brought home his first failed math quiz, Dad hit him. Maybe he thought pain would motivate my brother to work harder. Fear would make him try harder. All I knew is that Dad didn't stop beating my brother. I don't know why I jumped in between them. I hugged my brother's hunched body for dear life as Dad tried to hit him around me. He missed and hit me instead. It hurt a lot. Dad lost his temper and he was hitting a little too hard, but it didn't stop me from holding on to my brother. I had to protect him. This was my brother's nightmare just as much as the closet was mine. I had to protect him. When my mom finally stopped Dad, I let go. Tears streaming down my face from the stinging pain. I patted my brother's head as he cried. My brother was always there for me when I was in the closet. That day I realized I could be there for him too. Oh my God. My brother was at his limit. He couldn't calm down, always looked agitated at something. Even being in the studio didn't help him anymore. There was nothing 13 or I could do. We understood, so we just watched. While 13 hid behind his jokes and I hid behind my silence, my brother couldn't contain his frustration. My brother wasn't the type to hide. He paced restlessly around the hill. He paced in the building. There wasn't anywhere else to go, but he didn't want to stop. He was just afraid of stopping. 13 took to keeping me company in his place. I promised your brother to keep you company whenever he's gone, and he's never been as far gone as he is now. He tried to joke to cheer me up, and I forced a smile. I may be losing my brother, but 13 was losing a friend too. He's having nightmares. 13 nodded as he absently strummed the guitar. I know. Weird, huh? I thought all you see here was memories. Have you had a nightmare yet? No, just memories. Real boring stuff because nothing ever happens. He strummed the guitar again. I wish he wouldn't. The sound was jarring in the empty studio. But as much as I loved silence, 13 loved sound. It was as though he needed to be constantly surrounded by noise to keep the silence out. So I simply listened as he strummed a few chords. I tried talking to him, but he didn't seem in the mood for it. Maybe he wants to be alone. 13 laughed, sounding sad. No, he doesn't. You're already alone in this place. Can't get much worse than this. He looked at me, his eyes completely serious. He needs you, Wade. He won't say it, that's all. You're the only one he has left, just like it is for you. With 13's words in my mind, I went looking for my brother. He was staring at the earth again. I wondered if it was because he wanted to go home, and that was where he thought home was. I stood beside him and looked up to earth too. Beautiful, frightening, nostalgic. Home. The nightmares are getting worse. He sounded broken, quiet. This time it was my turn to be his strength. What did you dream about? I wish I knew. Things happened so fast. There was a lot of noise. I panicked. I tried to move, but it was so blindingly bright. Then there was only darkness. He paused for a moment. When he spoke, his voice came out choked. My last thought was that I needed to protect you. I took a deep breath, squeezing my fingers tightly. My brother needed me to stay strong, so I didn't speak. I think I failed. I think that's my regret, that I failed you. I just wish I knew why I couldn't protect you. I wish I remembered. He drew a shuddering breath, covering his face with his hand. I'm sorry. I am so, so sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about. Oh god, I'm gonna save. I know a save's coming. Oh god, someone's home. Yeah, alright. Thank you. Please. No, you have nothing to be sorry about. My brother was blaming himself. It was painful to watch, especially since it's about me. I wanted to ease his pain, even if just a little. Hey, come on. Excuse me. You said you don't remember this happening. It was just a nightmare. You don't have... Okay, not that. That's the wrong choice. Wrong choice. I thought it was. I believe you? It felt strange. He was apologizing for something I didn't remember, full of grief, guilt, and pain while I stood beside him. But even so, this was real to him. He wanted me to forgive him for something I knew wasn't his fault to begin with. He wanted me to believe him. I know. It's alright. It's not your fault. My brother stilled. I swallowed, my throat feeling dry. I believe you. We stood in silence for a while, gazing up at Earth. I stole a glance at my brother's profile. He seemed calmer now, but also distant. I suddenly felt lonely. I didn't understand why I knew, but he was beginning to move forward, with or without me. This was the last time we were going to be standing together like this, looking up at the same sky. After the divorce, our dad chose to live in the countryside. Sorry. He used to live on a farm and he missed the wide open spaces. Every second week, my brother and I went to live with him. Sounds like a terrible idea. I liked the wide open spaces too. I liked that it was quiet and there weren't many people around. But my brother hated it for the same reasons I loved it. My brother chose a college 2 hours away, so he didn't have to come live at our dad's house. He worked at a part-time job and lived in a dorm instead in the middle of the city. We rarely talked to each other after that. There was always the internet, and sometimes we texted each other, but it wasn't the same. The distance between us was more than just physical space. We were growing apart too. I was told this was something that happened naturally to everyone, something that couldn't be helped. I just didn't realize that it would happen to us too. I missed him. It was late at night. I don't remember why, but I was coming late home. The trains had stopped running. I took the last bus out to the countryside, where it left me standing alone at the last stop. I was supposed to take the final bus that went to my dad's house, but it already stopped a long time ago. The distance from the stop to my dad's house was far too long to walk. I called my dad, but he was out working at the night shift. It was just me and the stars. I looked up at them, and I felt so small and so terribly alone. I texted my brother and told him I missed the bus. He called back immediately. Why isn't Dad picking you up? He's working the night shift. I hadn't heard his voice in so long. We hadn't talked in half a year. The phone warped his voice and he sounded strange and distant, yet so familiar. All of a sudden my throat squeezed and I couldn't speak. My brother misunderstood. He thought I was calling for help. Wait for me, I'll be there soon. It was an hour's drive from where I was, from his college. He drove as fast as he could. The bad thing about my recorder is not realizing that it suddenly stops. He was there in 40 minutes. Should have had his phone on at least. My brother complained as soon as I got in his car. He tapped on the steering wheel with his finger, angry on my behalf. Thanks for coming. I meant it. He glanced over at me and released the parking brake. You're about to cry. I couldn't just leave you here. It was an hour's ride back to Dad's home. We drove on a lonely country road. No other signs of life than my brother's car. That's why when the accident happened, there was no one around to help. I remembered now. This was my memory all along. It wasn't my brother's fault. He sped to me that night, but he was always the careful driver. Mom and I were easily frightened in cars, and since he was the one to drive us, he learned how to drive carefully. It was the truck that smashed into us. The road home was long and deserted. Truck drivers drove by sometimes, especially late at night. There was a bend in the road and around the side of a cliff. The truck driver was driving too fast as he turned and he lost control. There was a piercing bright light and a loud wail of a horn. My brother sweared sharply, and then the world turned over. He tried to save me. The driver's seat of my brother's car took most of the damage and was nearly flattened. My brother was already gone when I came to. I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't. I called his name over and over, wanting him to open his eyes. His name tore soundlessly through my throat until finally the words came. Leo. Leo, please. Please wake up. Each word tore out of my throat. I tasted blood and tears. My entire body screamed with pain. The car was turned over and the walls were crushed in. I was trapped. My arms and legs were pinned. I couldn't feel one of my legs. Leo. I kept calling his name, wishing he would wake up. He couldn't be gone. He was alive just a few seconds ago. We were talking. He was here. Help. Someone. I cried then. I couldn't breathe. I wanted Leo to wake up. Please, just wake up. Please. The smell of gasoline and blood filled the air, suffocating me. There was so much blood leaking out of his body, and he wasn't waking up. Please wake up. You were just here. Leo, please don't leave. Don't leave me. My voice was choked up and came out as a high-pitched sob. He didn't move. I wanted him so desperately to move. My brother wasn't waking up. My brother who rushed to my side when I thought I was alone. My brother who tried to save me that split second before we crashed. Why had he left me alone in the crushed remains of the car? The walls were too close. They were pinning me down, and I was struggling so hard to breathe, but I couldn't. I coughed, choking on something warm and metallic. My consciousness blurred with agony. Help. Someone help. Please help. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please. I don't want to die. My struggling became more frantic. Being pinned down was choking me. I could feel the bleed. I could feel the life bleeding out of me. Please. I don't want to die. The darkness was seeping into my eyes. I couldn't see. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced. And just like my name, my life sloughed out, slowly like a dying ember. It was my memory. This was how I died. I didn't want to die. That was the last thought on my mind, the last wish I made with all of my heart. I didn't want to die. I wasn't ready to die. So I held myself back from moving on, no longer alive, but unable to die from my own wish. I opened my eyes. I felt more awake than I ever had for a long time. It was time for me to go. I needed to let go of that earth hanging over me, close enough to feel real and alive, but too far away to reach. Ember. A voice called my name, and I turned around. I saw Leo and 13 coming to meet me. Leo, you've awakened too. My voice sounded calm. I was ready. Leo smiled, and I saw relief in his eyes. When I was dying, I was begging him not to leave me. Now was the time for me to let him go. He held out his arms to me, and I hugged him tightly. Leo, my brother and my best friend, the only brother I will ever have. I wanted to thank him for being there when I needed him. I wanted to thank him for always protecting me, for not leaving me behind when he was gone long before I was. Instead, I didn't say any of those things. Leo already knew without me having to say anything. He will always be my brother. My voice was filled with emotion, and I nearly choked on the last word. He laughed as he squeezed me back. And you, my sister. He let go of me, glowing much brighter than before. He was turning into light. 13 coughed and returned to him. So that's what your names are. Leo, Ember, I'm glad we got to meet. Despite his grin, I could see the loneliness etched in 13's face. I exchanged a knowing look with Leo, and we both hugged 13 on cue. It was fun. Start waking up too. Don't take too long. I won't. I'll catch you up, you see. We let him go. Two brightly glowing bodies next to his. 13 watched us as we started to disappear. Leo took my hand in his, and I met his eyes. Ready for the other side? He was always the brave one, just like his name, that he was so proud of. I smiled. Ready when you are. Acceptance and moving forward. Okay. I'm not gonna try and get any of the other endings. Welcome to the extra page. Every fun notes and story characters. There will be a lot of spoilers if you haven't played the game. Please do so first. 13 survey the world. Alright. Well, I'm going. That was a good game. I liked it. Yes, it was good. It was. Yeah. It was not bad, no. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. It portrayed the brother-sister relationship pretty okay. It was done pretty well. Not every relationship is the same, but and well, yeah. This is Oren Productions. I hope you enjoyed this two-part playthrough. I'm gonna go to the next game now. I hope you enjoyed that also. I will see you. Bye.